NIM Technologies is a company that is now one of the companies that I work with. I'm a security consultant generally, but I'm also I also fit various roles, with boards for security companies. And NIM is an attractive thing because it's a project that while I was working on, while I was still in prison, I was sort of mapping out sort of the way in which we can improve privacy technology in the digital sphere going into the 2020s and into the 2030s. So there were some various problems that we identified that were identifiable in the early 2010s that we finally had the ability to address. And I think that it was sort of there were other efforts to develop this technology, and I was asked to look at them and examine them, and I was like, oh yeah, I was looking at the same thing like 4 years ago, and that's whenever me and Harry Halpin started to team up and work towards developing what's called a mixnet, which is it's a way of anonymizing and preventing censorship on the internet up to a grade that is far beyond the existing technologies of, say, a VPN or Tor.
This is fascinating because we've just had the US election and Trump was at loggerheads with Zuckerberg again over Meta and what the various different Meta platforms would do with the election. And there was a real pushback. There was a campaign money that went towards Meta, but at the same time Trump was saying, don't censor me.
Yeah.
Do you think we've moved on in recent years from censorship, or do you think it's still a dominant threat?
Well, I think censorship is a dominant threat. I think that it's a question of who's doing the censoring and what the purpose is, and also censorship in the 21st century is more about whether or not you're boosted through like an algorithm, and how the fine tuning of that seems to work. I think that social media and the monopolies of social media have sort of like gotten us used to the fact that certain things that drive engagement will be attractive, and I think that one of the ways that we sort of can countervail that is to sort of go back to the more decentralized and distributed internet of the early 90s, but make that available to more people.
I was having a similar conversation with Tim Berners-Lee yesterday, and they have technology too where you own your identity.
Yeah.
You can keep everything private instead of handing over all of your information to a Facebook, an Instagram, or WhatsApp, and every other service you want to use for free.
Exactly.
You store it. So this is what you're talking about. So
decentralized identification.
Yes. So how do companies like Facebook and Instagram, how do they make money in that context? Does that leave us all paying for subscriptions?
Well, there would have to be sort of a contract. There would be a better social contract. I think a more even distribution in terms of that, in terms of this is the information that I, through technical means, am preventing you from sharing and from accessing. So one of the things about distributed or decentralized identification is that through encryption, you're able to sort of check the box yourself instead of having to depend on the company to provide you with a checkbox or an accept here. You are making that decision from a technical perspective.
This gets more pressing as we talk about AI, doesn't it? Because
yes.
AI can track you, can analyze you, send you more and more targeted material because it knows your preferences more than you know them. So this is where it gets quite pivotal in
yes.
2024, doesn't it?
It does.
So in terms of how you stop that, because I think we've already seen a proliferation of companies here that really want to go after the AI dollar. They want to make more and more money from us.
Well, they're a bit late because the data has been collected, it's been sifted through, and it's been analyzed. And now there's no more data. One of the problems that AI companies have right now is that there's not any more data to collect. They've sort of did it all, and they found that especially OpenAI first, and now Meta and Google are figuring out that the value of information, which information is actually useful for training purposes and for making intuitions based on is that data has been collected and it's been sifted through and it's already been sorted and it's already been labeled. So there's not really a whole lot more that can be sort of thrown at the problem. So we're going to have to figure out different ways of using AI tools and new ways of research in order to make any more progression, because I think that we're sort of reaching a slowdown.
Let me ask you about AI, because it is such a huge theme. I was talking to Tim Berners-Lee about this as well, whether superintelligence is where we're headed, because there's a big debate. Is it just super automation? Is that all we're going to get out for these very deep investments? Or is it actually going to be superintelligence, something greater, with a greater intellect than us. Do you think we're heading? He said yes. Do you think we're heading there?
I don't know. That's the honest answer. I don't know.
And you're the expert in the room, and you don't know.
we didn't anticipate like whenever we were working with large language models in 2019 and 2020, we did not know that ChatGPT would be the result of that. Like the capability existed for there to be a ChatGPT and using GPT 3.5 in 2020, but it didn't get developed as a tool or a product until 2022. So we don't know what technology we may already have that fits within a mold, which is a breakthrough, which is a technology that does a significant amount of development. It does not appear to me at this stage that we're definitely trending towards some kind of super intelligence or something like that, because I have not seen any of these tools do anything that a human can't do to scale. Like if you hire more people, you can certainly do the things that AI today does. It's whenever AI does something that a human hasn't been able to do before that I would say that we're in the superintelligence realm, and we're not there yet.
What is the greatest capability or use case that you've seen today for AI?
I think the greatest use case that I've seen so far is translation in the field without the internet. So the ability to translate tools, and I saw that need in places where you had aid workers like in various disaster areas across the world, especially as the sort of climate change and geopolitics have become more complex, is the ability to use a large language model like Aya in the field using locally available equipment to be able to translate documents, records, and identify people. That's definitely a use case that I've seen that I think is interesting.
And as you trawl through all the data and the capabilities, do you think it's likely that we are going to see large-scale disruption of the workforce? Is that coming?
It would have happened already if it was going to. I think that disruption to the disruption to the workplace it's going to impact the workplace over time. But I think that the sort of geopolitical situation that we're in and the way the supply chains are sort of like more fragile, and the uncertainty regarding the economy is going to be a bigger factor than AI in the workplace for the foreseeable future, I think.
And just quickly, let me finish out where we started around your background as a whistleblower. Do you think things are better today for whistleblowers or just as difficult?
We're in an interesting time because information is everywhere. We have more information than ever. Countries and governments no longer seem to invest the same amount of time and effort in hiding information and keeping secrets. What countries seem to be doing now is they seem to be expending more time and energy spreading misinformation and disinformation. So it's actually sorting through information and identifying which information is valuable, which is verifiable, which is authentic, versus whether or not, it's no longer secrecy versus transparency.
Lack of information, we've got too much of it, and whether it's right or wrong.
Exactly.